Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you for being here tonight. Happy Tuesday and hello. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Tanya, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome. It is a terrific Tuesday, and I am so happy. I am so glad that you are with me and that you are here to get this message that I have for you, this word. From the moment it downloaded in my spirit, I was like, oh, okay, now you're making this thing make sense. God, thank you. And I started, my intention was just to do it as a video and upload it and, move on about my day. But the more time I gave it and the more attention I paid to it and the more I meditated on what I wanted to say and the more I was like, I don't know if I can really express everything that I want to say in a video because it's going to probably be like a forever type of video that is going to go on and nobody's going to hear it to the end. And so I was just like, what do I do, God? What do I do, God? And he was like, go live. And I was like, oh, okay. So here we are. And so I just want to thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I pray that you are at peace within yourself, that your homes have peace and that your lives are experiencing peace. And if you are not experiencing those things right now, it is my prayer that after this live, after our conversation tonight, that God would grant you the peace, because God is going to give us all information that we will be able to take what he is saying from this, because none of this could be from me, because I'm still looking at my notes, and I have lots of notes here in front of me because I want to be sure that I say everything and that that you get what you need so that you can go on and continue to move in your journey. You like the glasses? Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so first of all, what I want you, this video is called narcissistic abuse, right? The devil's attack on your soul. Now, if you know, and you've been with me for a minute, you know that we've been dwelling on this whole discussion of the attack on your soul, or the narcissist is a soul hunter. What does that mean? And, and I understood, initially when I first, got the understanding that he wanted your soul, that it was an attack on your mind, will, and your emotions. And that was all fine and dandy. But, we always be asking God, but why? God, but why? God, but why? Because we needed to make sense and make it relevant to what we are saying or what we are experiencing. And so, even last night on Tanya's live on North of the Fray, we touched on this some more. And, we talk and you hear people call in, and we hear people with even our own stories, how they are so full of pain and hurt, and the pain of the betrayal and the attack from the narc, how it's almost paralyzing. It's like, it's not like your regular heartbreak. It's different than any kind of pain, than any other type of pain that we experience. We break up with people. Some people break up with their or divorced spouses, move on to encounter a narcissist, and it becomes like, wow, I've never experienced this type of pain before. But when we think about the pain that's associated with divorce, but you say that this pain with the narc is that much worse, it really is. And so I was like, God, I just need you to make it sense, make it make sense, because I don't understand. And so what's the connection to the soul? And so, he gave me a great deposit, and I can't wait to share it with you. So I'm going to stop blabbering, okay, and get to this. You see, and my sincere hope is that after this, we'll all be in a better understanding of just how calculated this attack that the devil put towards you, how customized this attack is against you, your purpose, and God's purpose for your life. But even in the bigger scheme of things, this is really an attack against God, the way the narcissist or the devil uses the narcissist, because the devil looks at all of us, or let me go back a bit. When we encounter these narcissists, right, we all say it, we all know it, that narcissists use people like they're tools. We could be a toaster to them, we could be a pen, you could be anything simple. And the narcissist uses people as tools. But the truth of the matter is, the narcissist is also the devil's tool, because the narcissist is being used by the devil to get his mission on, within this kingdom, this earthly kingdom, or in this, in this sphere of life, or whatever you want to call it. He uses the narcissist as a minion, a tool, a gadget to get to God's people, to get to God's children. And ultimately, if you get to God's children, you get to God, right? It's just like if the narcissist, like when people to our children, like another child or another person plays our children, hurts our children, it's personal to us because that's our child. And, our children are our responsibility. But it's no different. This is the same attack that the narcissist is using against, or the devil is using towards God. That's why it's so personalized, and it's a weaponized attack. It's calculated, and that's why it's so insidious. But more than that, it's diabolical, and I want to dive into that. So you see, the narcissist. Let's start there at the beginning. The narcissist, at some point in their life, and I'm still trying to make it make sense within a spiritual sense. At some point in their life, there's an open loophole, or there's a loophole where the enemy is able to gain access to the soul of this person. And they're able to, through systematic demonic attack, okay, through demonic attack, the enemy is able to train the narcissist on what to do when it comes to engaging with other people. That's why narcissists all act very militant. They all went to the same boot camp. They all went to the devil's school of narcissistic abuse training. They all went to the devil's training school of how to attack God's children, whatever the school was called. I wasn't there. I can't tell you what it was called, but I know it was demonic, right? So they are all trained by the devil. And that's why they all act the same. So, their behaviors and their patterns are repetitive with other people. And it's all the same. We all experience the same thing, minor variations here and there. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. It's the same type of attack. And this is why the narcissist is effective. You never have an army. You never have a military that, everybody within the military is doing their own thing. They all go to the same training so that when they go out to battle, when they go to war, they all do the same thing. And so they are effective against the people that they target. So even your flying monkeys, your low-level demons, your low-level narcissists, all of them beings, right? They all get the same training. It's just that their classifications are different. And that's why you may have your lesser, your greater narcissist, your covert, your overt. But when it comes to like titles like your covert, overt, I think those are really interchangeable, because one moment, they may act covert under a particular set of under a particular situation or circumstances, but you find that, that malignant nature will come out under a different, in a different situation or scenario. But remember that their father is the father of light. He changes, he's able to transform, and so are they. So when we start to break it down as, the covert and the overt, no, they just the same thing. They're demons. That's all. They're demons that have the ability to transform into, another type of evil, all to suit whatever the need that they are trying to accomplish is. So, why I think this is so important, and it's a much needed discussion, and we need to move away from trying to make it sense from, the whole mental health aspect, is if we don't get a proper understanding of what this is, we run the risk of allowing this to continue to take place within our bloodlines. And we want to do the work now so that we, that our children, our children's children, and future generations no longer have to do this, because this is very demonic. It's very diabolical, as we all know. But you see, the narcissist is after your soul. And I want you to understand the soul, three parts: your mind, your will, your emotions. Nothing on earth is as powerful as a human will. There just is nothing on earth that is more powerful than your will, than my will, than the human will. It's so powerful that not even God, not even God tries to dictate what we do with our will. He gave everybody free will. That's how powerful your will is. And so if he gave us all free will and, allows us to do what we want to do, ultimately knowing that we're going to be responsible for whatever choices, whatever decisions, whatever path we take, but we still have free will. His ultimate hope is so that we would use our free will to seek him, right? To get to know him and to further his kingdom agenda here on earth. That's what he wants us to do with our free will. But he will not impose himself over our free will. He allows us to be. So your mind, your free will is just that important, because again, not even God takes ownership or dictates what your will is. It's yours to choose. But if we say that the soul comprises of your mind, your emotions, and your will, the thing that God gives you complete control over, your will. So what does that mean when the narcissist is actually seeking where your will is housed? That's why this thing is so weaponized, and it's so, that's why the pain has to hurt that much. You see, your will actually controls your destiny. Your will is, what you decide to do, what you do with the choices that you have. And so it controls your destiny. It controls the choices that you make every day. It controls what you put in your mouth, how you choose to move your body, where you choose to live, what you choose to do for yourself, the careers, who you decide to worship, who you decide to date, marry, so on and so forth, who you have children with. That is your will. It's a powerful thing housed in your soul. The narcissist is a soul hunter. The enemy sent him to get your soul. But ultimately, it's not just your soul that the devil wants. Your soul is a narcissist's reward. That's all. But it's your spirit that the devil ultimately wants, because that's where his victory is. So again, let's go back to the fact that God wants you to use your free will, and he wants you to use your free will to do the things that would honor him and his kingdom. Now, I'm looking at my notes because there's so many things that I want to say, and I spent forever working on this, so I just don't want to miss anything. But you see, within your will is your two minds. There's your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And your heart, your emotions is housed in your subconscious. So let's remember that two minds, right? Your conscious, your subconscious, but your subconscious is your heart. It's housed in your heart. Remember, your soul, your will, the most important thing that God gave you control over, your heart, houses your subconscious mind. But when we think of your mind, the Bible tells us that as a man thinketh in his heart, as a man thinketh in his subconscious mind, so is he. So if the devil, if the narcissist, the devil's minion, is after your will, your heart, your mind, your emotions, why? What does this mean to you? How does this look when it comes to narcissistic abuse? You see, your conscious mind feeds your subconscious mind. So the things that we hear, the things that we take in, the words that the narcissist says to you, in that love bombing stage, when they want you to feel good, when they want to trick you, when they're deceiving you, they're skillful. They tell you any and everything. They give you all the good love. They tell you everything that they want to hear because they've spent time studying you. They've spent time getting to know what are your proclivities. What are the things that you desire out of your life? But mind you, let's pull back a bit, because the narcissist, the empty shell, I said to you a few moments ago that the narcissist actually, the devil's after your spirit, but the narcissist is rewarded with your soul. So now if your soul, your heart, mind, and will are gifts to the narcissist, they store that information in their soul bank, and that's what they use to gather new supply. So they'll pull from all other supplies that they already have to attract you, because they need your soul. They need that to give them the charisma that we all, say, oh, they're so charismatic, they're so wonderful, they're so knowledgeable, to charm other people. But like I was saying, they study you to the max. And that's why to them, the love bombing phase is so essential. And this is why the repetition from the narcissist, the repetitious things that they say when they are love bombing you, when they are telling you how they'll always be good to you, that you're the only one for them, that they've never experienced anything or anybody as good as you, and they telling you all those sweet nothings. Remember, their father, the Lucifer, was an angel of light, right? And he was a singer, beautiful voice. So the word says, very charismatic. They take on his features. So even in that love bombing phase, they're using those qualities. Remember, they went to the devil's boot camp. That's where they were fed his Kool-Aid, and that's why they come out so cray cray, But they're doing all of these things, and they're indoctrinating you into their way of thinking. But once you're fully indoctrinated into their way of thinking and they begin to take control, now they want to tap into your subconscious mind. And this is where that repetition is so important, so that what they keep telling you, what they keep feeding your conscious mind, they give, eventually is going to filter through to your subconscious mind. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your heart is your subconscious mind. That is your subconscious thought. That's where your subconscious thoughts are housed. So now, when we get into the phase of the narcissistic abusive cycle, where we go from the love bombing, and now we're going to the devaluation, and now you're no good enough, and everybody else has better than me. My ex treats me better than you. I met somebody who looks better than you. I met somebody who can do all these things for me that you can't do, belittling you, demeaning you, downgrading you, telling you how valueless you are. Think about a narcissistic mom talking to a child, continuing to throw harsh words. Think of a narcissistic father saying these demeaning, these belittling things to his child over and over and over and over again. Your narcissistic friends saying these things to you over and over and over again. Your narcissistic partners, lovers, spouses, whatever, siblings, bosses, all of them, your narcissistic creatures, every last narcissist that you know, that you've encountered in whatever capacity, they come into your life and they keep saying those words to you. And it's almost like you have a target on your back, because once you encounter one, it's kind of like a signal that says, hey, this one, we've got to get them. Remember, the enemy never goes after anything that has no purpose, anything that is bankrupt. Somebody on Tanya's live last night said that they don't break into empty homes. They go where there's something to rob, where there's something to steal. Remember, to steal, kill, and destroy. It's like you have that target on your back that you kind of keep attracting the same type of people. And or maybe it's like, the narcs in your life. Anyway, they come along with their narcissistic friends and their enablers, as well as their flying monkeys and all of that. So they keep speaking into your life, and they keep saying all these words that are filtering through your conscious mind to your subconscious mind, your heart, your emotions. So this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky, because now the narcissist gets to your subconscious, and this is where they become most effective. This is why this abuse is very diabolical, because those are your intimate thoughts. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what you're ingesting and what is staying within you is what is going to be birthed out of you. That is who you are going to become. It begins to shape your thought processes. It begins to shape your will. It begins to shape how you are speaking, what you are saying, and ultimately dictating the path that you are going to take. If you think about people who that have always been in narcissistic relationships, and they're still there. Let's not even talk about other people. Let's talk about ourselves. When we were in these relationships, and the relationships with the narcissist at whatever capacity, how did your life look? Were you truly living your best life? Were you happy? Did you feel fulfilled? Did you feel like you were accomplishing the things that you wanted to? Did you feel like you were accomplishing God's purpose for your life? Did you ever have time to focus on anything? Or you just felt like, I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough. You always felt like there was something missing. You felt like something was just off, that there was some type of lack in your life, that you were just confused about things. Like things just didn't make sense, but you still couldn't pinpoint what it was. Were you walking on eggshells? Couldn't trust yourself? And this is why that abuse is so effective. The abuse that goes through or filters through to your subconscious mind. That's why it's so effective, because it really just transforms the way that we see things, the way that we process things. Child of God, child of Christ just says it's they're evil and do witchcraft. Witchcraft, according to the word, is as rebellion is as of witchcraft. So this behavior here is very rebellious, and it's plain and simple witchcraft. If it's rebellious, it's witchcraft. That's the word. And so they're after your subconscious mind. And so, the narcissist works diligently on controlling your thoughts. They work diligently on controlling your thought processes. They don't want you to think for yourself. They always tell you that their thoughts are superior, that they know more than you know, even on things that you are qualified for, you're educated on, that you have everything that you need to succeed in a particular area. And the narcissist will start trying to take over that and begin to make you feel like maybe they're right and I don't know. It's manipulation, it's controlling, and it's abuse, it's witchcraft. All of it is witchcraft. Every part of it is witchcraft. And it's the narcissist assignment. They are there to render your spirit to their master. Again, they're trying to control your soul, your will, your emotions, and your mind. That's it. That's it. The narcissist doesn't need those things. The narcissist doesn't need your spirit. He wants your soul. She wants your soul. They want your soul so that they can use it. So again, they're going to work on controlling your mind, your subconscious. And so even when we sit back and we think, even like when we come out of the relationship, right, our minds are not even right, because you're so used to walking on eggshells. You're so used to having them dictate what's going to happen, what's the next thing, or you don't trust yourself anymore. The way that they've systematically devalued and degraded you, belittled you, embarrassed you, controlled your life, and made it so now that you're isolated. They've been smearing you everywhere, so everybody's looking at you through the lens of the narcissist. All of that is calculated to keep you trapped and to keep you stuck. It's calculated so that even if they let you go, the narcissist never discards people. You know how sometimes you have a dog on a leash and you're walking it and you can retract the leash. You just give it enough space to go, and then at the right time, you press the button, you click it, and it starts to reel them back in. This is how the narcissist is. They think of us as dogs on the leash, that at any time they'll yank us back when they want to. That's what this Hoover is all about. Let you go off a little bit, or the discard. Let you go off a little bit, and when they think that okay, enough, that person, you're about to, get your life back, get your glow back, find your pep in your step. They don't want you to get to that point. They want to always maintain control, because that is their assignment. That's why they can't let you go. There's no such thing as a narcissist that doesn't hover. There's no such thing as a narcissist that does not stalk, spy, sneak, peek, run surveillance. There's no such thing. They cannot stop. They will not stop, because it is part of their assignment. And that's why you can't think that you're special to the point that the narcissist is going to come out of character and off assignment to stop focusing on you. No, you are their assignment. And so when it's time for you to say, okay, you're the one who has to take control. You're the one who decides that this thing is over. So even if they discarded you, you discard them. It's you not going back. It's you not entertaining them anymore, which is the ultimate discard. The narcissist never discards. It is up to you to do that. But the narcissist banks on the fact that they've done enough harm to your subconscious mind that you will always go back. That's what they do. But they forget. They forget whose you are. They forget who you belong to. They forget that there is power in the name of Jesus. And so if you would call on the name of Jesus, they know that they can, that's it for them. But yeah. Yeah, so let me just see this. Hold on a second. All right, so I've done that. So the narcissist wants you to continue to keep going back, right? So I just wanted to be sure that I didn't miss any of my points. Thank you so much, Island Girl Ruby. I appreciate you. So I want to talk about the mind a little bit, right? So we just there's a quote that I actually found this quote, and this is, it was something that was so right on time because I was in the middle of preparing for this, and it's by Dr. Miles Monroe, where he says, "Your mind is defined as your heart. It defines you. It defines the future of a man." I love Dr. Miles Monroe. His word, I mean, his teachings have been something that I've always followed. And, I would encourage a lot of you, I would encourage all of you to go check him out. There's fantastic information and material that he has out here on YouTube. But, you know, when we consider that our mind shapes our future, right? And it dictates our choices and that kind of thing. I want you to think of some of the bad habits that you have. We all know our bad habits. For some people, you smoke. They smoke. Some people drink. Um, you know, um, some people are just, maybe sloppy. Whatever the bad habit is, whatever it is, and it becomes hard to break, right? Because we process certain things, or we process experiences through our souls. How? Through our senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, feel. Those all have to go through our soul. And so they, over time, right, over the years, over time, it's repetitive behavior, that repetitious thought, that repetitious action, that actually seeps into our subconscious, and now it's part of our heart makeup. And so that's why it may become difficult to break bad habits. And so it's really going to take unlearning those bad habits, but it's so difficult. If you think about like your computer hard drive or something like that, for example, if it's got a virus, if it's infected, how do you take care of it? How do you delete information that's stored on it? Because that's what our minds are like. They're just like a hard drive. So that even when you go to bed, right? Even when you go to bed and you're laying down, you're sleeping, that hard drive is still running because it's your subconscious mind. So even when you're asleep, those thoughts that the narcissist has been implanting in your head all day, all that crazy making, all that word salad, all the turmoil that they cause in your life, that that hard drive is still running while you're sleeping. It's still running, it's still going, it's still working on doing the work that the narcissist was sent to do. So they may no longer be there, but that is still taking place. And so, so it's a double whammy of sorts, because not only do you form that trauma bond, which is that soul tie with the narcissist, through intimate actions, or through relation, or just time spent together, but they're actually their thought process, or the things that they're depositing in you continue to run while you sleep. So that's also another part of how effective they are. So a lot of the times, we'll say, like, and I'm guilty of this, and I was questioning myself, well, maybe I'm wrong for saying these things. I come on here and I laugh a lot, and I call the narcissist a raggedy dusty behind, just like their father, the devil. And I think, for a moment I thought about that today, and I was like, well, maybe that's not a good thing to do or to say, simply because it may diminish how powerful the devil actually is. Because I don't want us to think that, he's not powerful. But even though we claim that we know that he is powerful, maybe powerful is not the right word, but it's like very cunning and very sly and crafty. And so, that may seem like that power, just like the narcissist is so deceptive and delusional and lives in a fantasy world, and is so vindictive and evil, that those things may appear to be powerful, but it's part of that illusion that they present. But I'd never want to diminish that, how dangerous this is, because it is. There's a lot at stake, and it's your life. The path that you take, the quality of life that you have, the relationships that you have with people that are around you now and in the future. But more than that, also your bloodline, your children, your children's children's children. All of this can be passed, because it's a demonic thing, it's a spiritual thing. And we know that these, certain certain things will carry on or continue through generations. So it's just, it's that dangerous. But more important is your soul. I mean, your spirit. How does all of this affect your actual spiritual life as well as your spiritual destiny? And that's what the enemy is trying to shape here. That's what they're really trying to shape here. And so, you know, you need to be able to uninstall the programming that the narcissist placed on the hard drive, your subconscious thoughts. And I think that's where our focus needs to shift to. And one of my hopes for tonight was that I would be able to express these thoughts effectively, that it would cause you to, cause a stirring in you to no longer care about the narcissist anymore, because I want you to realize that this is truly, it is an assignment, it's diabolical, and it is out to actually to kill you. If not your physical death, your spiritual death. And that's the worst thing ever. So I want you to really be intentional about how you're feeding yourself in this state of your journey, because you understand that what you listen to repetitively, what you read repetitively, what you absorb, and what you allow to become part of your conscious thought process ultimately becomes your subconscious thought process. And ultimately, that is going to affect your heart, your mind, your will, your soul. And in turn, that is going to affect your body, your physical body, and your spirit. There's not, again, at the beginning I said there's nothing more powerful than your mind, right? So that would be to say that there's nothing more powerful than your soul. Because with your spirit, right? Your spirit, we can pray to God right now and ask for salvation, and we're saved like that. It doesn't require works. We're saved by grace through faith. That's all it is. Your body, this thing, it's at dust to dust, ashes to ashes. But it's your soul that will determine what happens to the most important part of you. And it's filtered through your body, your senses, your taste, your touch. The five senses: taste, touch, sight, sound, hearing. The narcissist affects all five of those things. What you're hearing from the narcissist, what you're seeing from them, the touch, how they're touching you. How are they touching you physically? Is it that tender sexual touch? Is it an intimate touch? Is it the touch of a parent that doesn't care, that is harsh? What are they feeding you? When we say feeding, I'm talking about feeding your body, but let's also take that as how they are feeding your soul. What is their aura? What does that smell like? Because I always say that they're filled with sewer water, and that does not smell right. It does not smell right. And so that's why sometimes when we get around these people, there's a stirring within us that says, and we're so quick to dismiss these things. And, we dismiss them, but there's something in us that's saying, this doesn't feel right. And I shouldn't be here. And I need to let go of this. But we don't. We continue to just go on deeper with these people. But, I want us to understand that this is an attack on your soul. So it doesn't matter what type of vessel that the enemy chose to use. He's going to come with what you like. He's going to come with that person that looks like everything you want, that is saying everything you want, that is doing everything that you want, because they have to get you. They have to get you. And so if they don't get you now, if he doesn't get you with this one, he's going to get you with the next joker. And so it's really important that you heal, and that you understand that this is no laughing matter. This is nothing that we should ever take lightly. And I'm not saying that we are, but I'm just saying that we've got to be real serious and real intentional about this. I think that we would do a great disservice to ourselves, our future selves, our children, our generations to come, if we take this thing lightly. We've got to be passionate and intentional about healing from this abuse, and being sure that when we heal, we become a beacon of light for somebody else. We become, ready to stand up and speak out, because remember, the soul is one of the most important it's one of the most important things that we have, your will, right? The word even says, and I can't think of the scripture right now, but it says, like, when angels rejoice when somebody is saved, and so that soul made a decision to be saved, and so angels rejoice, so heaven is rejoicing. So think about how powerful it is that angels would rejoice at your salvation. Angels would rejoice at the salvation of those people. And sometimes it's just coming out of this relationship and understanding it for what it is. When we sit back and we say, like, oh, this is just a mental health issue, yeah, no, we're diminishing what is actually here and what is actually taking place. The devil is not after your body. The devil's not after your body. The devil wants to get this narcissist into your life because he is going to dictate, or the actions that are going to be taking place based on what the narcissist is doing is going to dictate what your spirit receives. And that is the ultimate goal for the enemy. It's your spirit. So filtering through the body, your senses, sight, smell, taste, touch, feel. I hope that was 5 that I just gave you. It filters, we filter information through those senses. And so those senses will end up being part of our subconscious and will filter on into our spirit, which is the enemy's ultimate reward. So that, like I said, he's not after your body. He knows that if he taps into your soul, everything else will follow. And so that's why the narcissist is so intentional and so forceful about how they attack their soul. Excuse me if I keep saying he. I know that there's she, but it just rolls off my tongue sometimes. But is he, she, it? Okay. So it's so intentional about how it attacks your soul. And that's why that your soul is given to the narcissist as a reward. Because the devil doesn't want nothing to do with your soul. At the end of the day, he couldn't care less. The battle has never been about your soul as far as the devil is concerned, but it is through your soul that he's able to gain access to your spirit. How is this so? I'm glad you asked, because your soul is your mind. Your soul is your emotions. Your soul is your will. And so I just said to you that your soul will receive from all the senses from the body. And what that does is it ultimately regulates your emotions. And once your emotions are involved, they will dictate your will, the most powerful thing that God gave you. So that's why, and that's why the devil wants your soul. That's why the narcissist hunts your soul. Because ultimately, like I said, your soul is a reward for the devil, but it's your spirit. And so the only way that he can get to your spirit is through your soul. And so that's why that narcissist, that raggedy, dusty behind, came after you, was to be able to hand over your spirit to his father. Once anything is received by your spirit, by your soul, sorry, it's always going to be filtered into your spirit. That's why the word tells us to take heed to what you hear. That smooth talking fool is just buttering you up. When they start spewing that venom to you, when they're discarding you, or they're dragging you through the devaluation process and saying hurtful things, it filters into you, into your soul, and ultimately affects your spirit. So the spirit reveals to the soul, or the spirit reveals to the soul through your body. And so that's how the whole person, the whole being, soul, body, and mind, not soul, body, and spirit, all work in tandem. They all work together because your spirit reveals to the soul through the body. So like if you're in a battle, right? Or if your battle is one with your spirit, body, and soul. So let's just say like your body, I'm trying to think of how to word what I want to say. Your body is going to let's say your spirit wants you to do something. It's going to speak to your body so that it can filter that information to your soul. But if your soul is set up with the raggedy, dusty narcissist training, if it's filled with the narcissist indoctrination, if it's filled with all negative thoughts from the narcissist, how then would your soul be able to get that your spirit get that information from your body to your soul, because your soul is at war with itself, because what you've been hearing, what your subconscious mind has been fed is all against your authentic identity. It's all against, what your spirit wants to do. And so that's where we can sometimes experience so much cognitive dissonance. And so okay, that's where we can experience that, because it's like, we know that this is wrong. This isn't right. And our spirit is trying to speak to us. But because how the narc moves is that, even like, think about your own life. Like when you were with the narcissist, so many of us we're on a path, and on our spiritual path of spiritual growth, development, whatever. We're on that journey. But once the narc comes in our lives, it cuts that off. That they become, that relationship becomes stagnant. It doesn't grow. There's nothing that is growing, or nothing that is, that is positive in that moment. So even though we know that, I want to get back to where I was. I want to get back to where I was, but you never can, because there's that disconnection. And the things that we know are right, but that are wrong, actually, should I say, we're starting to have second guess, are these things right? Or, and the world will tell us, well, the doctors they will tell us this is cognitive dissonance. No, it's the work of the enemy. That's what it is. That's why there's that war within us sometimes. And that's why that, oh, I cannot stop thinking about this narcissist. I know they're bad for me. I know they mean me no good. I know my life will go nowhere with this person, but I've just got to get back to them. Or, they're telling you that, hey, listen, I told you the sky is pink today, and you're over here insisting that it's blue, and you're at war. This is just how they work, because they cause that, disruption within us. And so, I just kind of wanted to talk to you today about like how they affect our way of thinking, and why they do it. Because your will is the most important thing that God gave you. And the narcissist will always try to superimpose their thoughts of, of of themselves that they want us to ingest for ourselves. So I just, I just made I want to bring a couple of comparisons to you. So when we think about narcissism, right, we think about self-importance, the grandiose ego, the false worlds that they live in, their constant need for admiration, adoration, attention, and affection. They always exploiting people. They demean, they belittle, they intimidate. They are self-serving. Everything has to be about them. It has to be about them. But now let's look at the traits of the one who sent them, the devil, right? He's a deceiver. He's a tempter. He's a thief, a murderer, a distorter of truth. He's proud, fierce, cruel, deceitful, subtle, and malicious. That's their father, right? But now I want to talk to you about the fruits of, or just highlight to you the fruits of the Spirit: love, peace, kindness, gentleness, joy, patience, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. None of the fruits of the Spirit reflect the narcissist whatsoever. None of them do. None of them do. But when I mentioned traits of narcissism and traits of the devil, they're identical. So who wants to make sense that this is truly a mental disorder when side by side they reflect the enemy? How is this now a mental disorder? How is it a mental disorder? And if it's a mental disorder, where's the pill? Where's the treatment that they can take and be better? Why does it have to take their whole lives to be better in therapy or through psychotherapy? Why? Where's the medication? Because who has time to be going to a therapist or a psychotherapist every day of their life? Like, who wants to do that? What is the fruit of the narc's life? Does it speak of love? Because they don't love. They don't have the ability to love. They lack empathy. So how are you going to generate any type of love with no empathy? Let's talk about gentleness. Where's the narcissist's gentleness? Were they gentle with you? Oh, that's right. When they were love bombing you, right? When they were deceiving you. That's right. It was not no gentleness. It was deception. at its finest. Goodness. Where's the goodness at the narc? Their fantasy worlds, everything that they wish they were, everything that they want you to believe that they are, everything that you have that they claim is theirs. It's not goodness. Nope. Peace. Where's the peace with the narc? They're not even at peace within themselves. So there is no peace there. Joy. Where is their joy? They can't have joy if we know that they're pathologically envious and hateful. Where do you find joy in that? There is no joy, because you always will go around with a chip on your shoulder if you are pathologically envious. If you're pathologically jealous, there is no joy. Faithfulness. Show me one faithful narc. I've got to see this, because they're pathological cheaters. So where's the faithfulness? They're not even faithful to themselves, because, a lot of the times we say that, the narcissist is faithful to themselves. No, they're not. They're faithful to the devil's agenda for them. That's what they're faithful to, because they're not even in their right minds. So there's nothing faithful that would be able to come from that. Kindness. Oh, have you ever met a kind narc? I mean, they would pretend to be kind to you if they wanted something, or if they wanted you to do something, or, when they're breadcrumbing you and they may be acting like they're, kind of being nice. It's an act. It's distorting things. Another trait of the devil. Patience. Now, the narc is going to be patient. They will patiently wait for the right opportunity to seize you, to lash out on you, to hoover you. But to be patient is to actually be able, they say patience is a virtue, right? But that's not the type of virtue that the narc has. That has a malicious intent. So there's nothing patient about them. Self-control. Self-control. What self-control does the narcissist have? When they're trying to superimpose their will on you or onto you, they don't even want you to have self-control in your life. They don't want you to have any control. They want control of your life. They don't know what self-control is whatsoever. So Anna says, Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but God has come to give you life, and life more abundantly. Thank you so much for that, Anna. And that is so true. That is the work of Christ, is to redeem us back to God, to bring us back to him. And so, I had to come here today and talk about this, because I felt like I wouldn't know what direction to take it in the video, and the video would have ended up way too long. And, we're able to have this conversation together and just, share our thoughts. But I just hope that you understand that this is not a game. This is not a joke. I hope it would give you a holy anger, that the enemy would think that it was okay to come after you and to target you with a narcissist, to come and use love, the very finer parts of your heart, your soul that you want to give and share with somebody, and use that to pull you down and to tear you away from God, just so that he can say to God that I won. No, he wins nothing. He wins always claiming victory where there is no victory. The narcissist and his father have no victory when it comes to God. You've got to remember that, how does this story end? It ends with God being the ultimate victor. And if you're on his side completely, and that means like we're actually becoming fully aware of what narcissism is and how it's affected our lives. And now that we've awakened, what do we do? Because now, to whom much is given, much is required. This is not talking about money. It's not talking about any of those things, but it's your knowledge. It's your will, God's gift to you. So now what do you do with your will? What do you do now that you know what you were fighting? How are you going to respond to this narcissist, or to all of, everything, all the emotions that I miss this person? Why did they have to choose the other person? Why wasn't I good enough? Why couldn't they just accept my love and let my love change them? My love was strong. No, your love was not strong enough for that. None of our love is strong enough for that. They didn't come for our love. They came to get your soul, so that your soul could then siphon your spirit off onto their father. That's what they came for. So if you think about it that way, you've got to allow that now to lead you in your journey of healing. And if we know that this is a spiritual battle, if we are aware, and if it resonates with you, because this is not going to be for everybody. Some will reject it and say, whatever, you guys are crazy, always got to be overly spiritual, and that's fine if it's not for you. But if this resonates with you, that means that you cannot fight this based on what the world would say, that you've got to go through these steps or whatever they tell you to get your peace and to get your healing. You've got to turn to the one who created you. You've got to turn to the one who said, I am the great I am. In fact, he is Jehovah Rapha, the God who heals all disease. And it's so good that he is Jehovah Rapha, because it's not just sickness in your body, but it's sickness in your soul. You can go to him and say, I need you to restore me back to who you created me to be, to who you intended me to be. Because we don't go into fire and take gasoline to put out the fire. We don't go to put out a fire with oil. We don't go in, we don't fight the enemy with, with anything other than the word of God. Your prayer life is important right now. And you may say, I don't know how to pray. I can't. And that's fine, because God isn't looking for words. He's not impressed by words. He searches your heart. Where's your heart? How much do you want this? How much do you want him? What are you willing to change? What are you willing to sacrifice, so that you can now be at peace within yourself, and that he can now do the work that he wants to do with you? Because you've got to think about, like, if the enemy chose you, why you? Why you for this? Because narcs don't go for everybody. And I reject the notion that they go after weak people. So if that's what somebody told you and that's what you believe, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. That's not it. They don't go after weak people, because if they're weak, they don't need that type of repetitive thought process to be filtered into their subconscious. They don't need all that. They don't need that, because they're weak. So you can just say it once and it's good enough. But for they had to strike out to get you. They had to do the utmost to get you. So then what does that say about who you are as a person? What does that say? What does it say about how the mark that God put on you that says, like, hey, this is my child, and my child will do these things, And so you've got to get back to basics. It doesn't mean that you need any fancy words. It's your heart. It's your heart. So, my prayer for you is that God would give you a heart that desires him and that seeks him and that pursues him passionately. My desire is that you would trust him in this, because he has so much more and so much for you to do. My desire is that you would take the time to ask him, what is it that you want me to do? What is it that you want me to do? Where am I most effective? And I believe many people already know where you're most effective. And when I'm saying most effective to you, I'm talking about your purpose. I'm talking about the call. I'm talking about what God wants you to do. What was the reason that he created you? What did he want you to do here on earth that would change the world? And so that's what you need to get focused on. It's all good, and it's a journey, and it's a process, because again, that subconscious programming is going to take time to uninstall, right? But you got to be mindful. So be careful what you're listening to. Be careful what you're ingesting. Be careful what you're allowing your mind to filter. Be careful about where your emotions are taking you. So when you find yourself beginning to sit back and think, oh my God, I miss this person. Oh my God, this and that, about the narc, you've got to snap out of it. You've got to go ahead, put on some praise music, put on some worship music, talk to somebody who loves you, talk to somebody who you trust, that if you open up, they'll allow you to speak your truth without telling you, like, listen, girl, I'm tired of that. Like, can we move on? No. So, when you're talking to each other in the comments, continue to encourage one another, continue to uplift one another, continue to be there for one another, because we all need each other. It's no coincidence that we find ourselves here at this moment and this time, and that we're grateful that we have these communities where we can meet each other and share our experiences in an open manner where there is no condemnation. And that's why I said in the last video that I published or uploaded, that please, no more. Like, if you don't think about the narc, we are happy for you. But some people still do. So don't make anybody feel less than because the narc is still on their mind and that they're concerned about the new supply. Please don't do that. Their mind is still deprogramming. They're still uninstalling what the enemy put in there. They're still uninstalling the negative things in their subconscious mind. And we're not going to make anybody feel bad about. There are plenty other channels that allow that to happen there. I don't encourage that. I don't want to, if that's going to be the fastest way for me to put you on block, because I want to be here to help people grow. And I can't do it by myself. That's why you're all essential. But be mindful, we're all at different stages. You don't just go from baby to walking as a full adult just like that. There's a process to this. So allow people to be where they are and express their feelings without fear of condemnation, because that's why some people stay in these relationships so much, because better I stay with the devil that I already know than the ones that are out there waiting to judge me. We're not going to do that anymore. Please stop it. And thank you for understanding that. But this is what I wanted to share with you tonight. I'm going to take a look and see if there are any questions in the comments, or if you have any, you can throw them down here. No, what I'm seeing is that the comments are just, they're lively as always. I love being in them, but I just wanted to come on here today and not do it as a video, as an upload, but be able to share this with you and just express, what my thoughts were. I hope that this has shed some light to you. I hope that it will be helpful in your journey. And I just encourage you to continue to seek God, continue to seek God. I mentioned praying, right? If you're not, it's not part of your life yet. Okay, so start off with 1 minute a day and work on getting to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, until that relationship speaks for itself. And that's the same with staying in the Word. Read 1 chapter a day and allow that to speak to you. And if you don't know where to start, pray about it. Where do you want me to, or just where do you want me to go? And open the book, and wherever you land, believe that that's where God wanted you to be. And continue to love yourself, continue to do the work to grow and to heal. But never forget, don't ever forget, when that narcissist crosses your mind, or when you feel the pain of what you experience, especially if it's a narcissistic parent, if you feel that pain from them, just remember that they're on assignment. They are being used as tools. So they themselves are not even in their right minds. They've been taken over by a legion, and they are doing the enemy's work. So think about it from that perspective. You miss the narcissist. Well, that's the devil's, that joker's in bed with the devil anyway. So you really miss that, and allow your mind to allow your thought patterns to start changing. And, the more you continue to ponder on those thoughts, the more it will change how you see them. And the more you change how you see them, the more it's going to change how you think about them. And that will ultimately be what is going to work towards breaking those negative, or, breaking that toxic thought pattern that the narcissist has going in our subconscious minds. And once you're able to grasp that, remember, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As you're able to change that, you can truly become who you're supposed to be. You'll never go back to being who you were before, you encountered the narcissist. And that's a beautiful thing in itself. It's a beautiful thing because at the end of the day, you come out as somebody who is more knowledgeable, who is more skillful, and who has experience. You are now an awakened super empath. You are now awakened to the evil that is there. You learn how to pray differently. You learn how to move in the realm of the spirit a lot more differently, because you're right there. You're right there. This is a spiritual battle. This is a spiritual war. And so you got to suit up. And you've got to trust God that, you know what, if you're here right now, and if you're experiencing this thing, God has you, and he is going to see you through. There's nothing that is, too big for him. So even in your prayers, be as big and be as big as and as bold as you can be, because that's the type of God that he is. He's not a God of small things. And remember one thing also, he is not slack concerning his promises. So if he promised it to you, and he has so many promises for you in his word, that's why you've got to get in that word, so that you can remember, like, hey, God, but you said right here, you can take his word back to him. So he's not slack concerning his promises. He said that you're the head and not the tail. He said you're above and not beneath, that you are more than a conqueror through him who loves you. So all of these things he said, but you won't know all the promises unless you're in the word yourself. And it's in the word that you are going to get to know him more. You're going to get to discover who he is. And as you discover who he is, you find out who you are. And what better thing, than to know who you truly are and to walk into your authentic identity. So, keep going forward, because at the end of it, we're going to be sharper in the spirit, and we're going to be thankful. It's crazy that you can have these horrific experiences, and at the end of the day say that, you know what, I actually thank God that I went through this, because of this. And it's not because of the person that put you through this or any of that, but because of his grace throughout all of it. You come out different. And so, when you feel like, life is hard, okay, that's fine. Walk at the pace of grace. Take it one step at a time. You are going to get there. God has got your back, and we are praying for you. And I just want to thank you so much for being with me on this live. I appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday night. So until then, everybody, have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care. Bye.